Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to vlog number 2. We're on the second week of vlogs. I'm so excited. I've been having so much fun doing these. Today we're gonna be talking about something I'm so deeply passionate about, which is productivity, time management, being productive, getting everything done that you wanna get done. If you're over here, busy blooming, you wanna grow on social media, you probably have a 9-to-5 job or a million things going on, businesses you wanna build, podcasts you wanna build, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, a million things. And I am right there with you because these vlogs were at work. So welcome back to work. I just love having coworkers to talk to all day. Also today I wanted to talk about Instagram and growing on Instagram because we're doing the 30-day Instagram challenge right now. 2,000 people have signed up for the Instagram challenge, like downloaded the assets in the calendar that I created. So if you want to join doing a 30-day Instagram challenge, if you want to grow on Instagram in 2025, I made a Instagram calendar, Canva templates, like all of that. I'm about 10 days in and we're going to talk about everything. I made a week's worth of content in like an hour yesterday. So I'm going to talk about everything with Instagram, growing on Instagram, how many followers I've gained, how I'm creating content, and we're just going to unpack that as well. We'll talk about productivity and other things. I also had some housekeeping for the vlogs because the vlog, the first one, hasn't even gone live yet. It's going live in 10 minutes when I'm filming this. So I have had no feedback. So I'm curious to hear your thoughts. These vlogs, I had so much fun, like probably the most fun I've had in a really long time making content. The first thing I want to say is that I will be timestamping these vlogs a lot. I think they'll be around like 45 minutes to an hour each. I want these vlogs to genuinely feel like we're at work. All the different conversations we're having about YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, productivity, mental health, mindset, personal things. Like I just want it all to be timestamped. I'm so deeply passionate about timestamps. Something else I wanted to say is that I'm filming this video, like I said last week, on the Canon M50 Mark II. I found online for the gorgeous Sony camera, there is a wide angle vlogging lens. So I'm just saying, if one person comments below that we need to do 4K vlogs with a wide angle lens, at that point it's a tax write-off, right? Because then these vlogs will be in 4K, which will be like so gorgeous. The last housekeeping about these vlogs is that I don't leave my apartment. I think that's so important to discuss. I work from home, obviously. So this vlog and the last are very like chatty, sit down at home working, but I'm actually thinking I could go leave, bring you through like a whole week when I go see my friends, my content creator friends. I think you follow a lot of them, like chatting with them, maybe going to an influencer event. I never go to influencer events literally ever, but I could go for the vlog. Like we could go together. I've been invited to a couple events for next week. I haven't been to an event in like I think over a year, but honestly for the sake of the vlog, like I think we might have to do that. So let me know like if you want more of that, like in the city going and doing things and the working, or like you like just the chatty working tips vlogs. I'm so open to whatever you like. Anyways, it's the morning. We're starting the vlog kind of early today. It is a snowstorm in Toronto as always, and I wanted to take you through my whole day. I think I'll film for a couple days, and today is such a good day because I'm actually leaving for a trip. I'm going away, so I can't work on the weekends, which I usually do a little bit of work on the weekends. So I have a lot to do today. We need to be productive. And 2 years ago, if I was leaving for a trip and I had a lot of work to do, I would be screaming, crying, throwing up, freaking out, and like probably just like doom scrolling on TikTok. But here we are today. It's the morning. We have a solid plan for the day. Our calendar is booked. We're sitting having a coffee and talking. As somebody who had a 9-to-5 job for 4 years balancing content, and then a part-time job balancing content, and then now I balance a lot in my day, in my weeks. So today I have a very long list that we're gonna unpack about productivity, time management, everything. So we're gonna chat about that. Before we get into that, I have one productivity tip, and then we're gonna talk about Instagram. So let's just get started with the vlog. Okay, so the topic of productivity, organization, just like managing everything as a content creator and as an entrepreneur, you know how overwhelming it can be to manage brand deals, content ideas, admin work, emails, content planning, and also maintaining your creativity while trying to manage all of that. I love the quote from that book, Atomic Habits. You don't rise to the level of your goals, but you fall to the level of your system, which is so true as a content creator because I know you have the goals, but if you don't have the right systems, you can't hit all the goals that you want to do. And I truly cannot recommend enough checking out HubSpot's free guide on productivity. It is so good. It walks you through step by step how to create a workflow that actually works for you, and that you can create a custom workflow and actually get more done. Inside, you'll learn how to assess your current productivity and pinpoint what's holding you back, the best time management and prioritization methods to optimize your workflow, and how to automate and streamline tasks so you can focus on what actually moves the needle. One section that I love that I'm going to talk about a little bit in today's vlog is the time blocking section, because as you've probably heard me say, one of my favorite things to do for productivity is to take my to-do list and time block it into my schedule. It has like changed everything for me. And in HubSpot's free productivity guide, they walk you through how to actually do this in a custom way that works for you. And the best part about this is it's completely free. Like, you just have to go check it out. I've put the link in the description where you can go download for free HubSpot's guide on building a productivity system and optimizing your workflow today. This is such an important thing to do and build out. If you're a content creator, if you're an entrepreneur, and there's big goals you want to do, you have to have a good system workflow in place so you can be productive. HubSpot also has so many other resources, so I'll link them down below. Go check out their free guide. And a huge thank you to HubSpot for sponsoring today's video and for creating resources that help creators like us work smarter and not harder. And now let's get into the rest of the video. Okay, so I thought the first thing we talk about is growing on Instagram and the 30-day Instagram challenge. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I created a 30-day Instagram growth challenge. I put together a content calendar, a content strategy. I pulled the content strategy from the 3-month strategy, the Q1, what we're all doing in Q1 right now, the era, the content pillars, and I kind of turned that into a 30-day challenge for Instagram. So one of my goals in 2025 is to grow my personal Instagram. It's something I've never really done. I've always been such a TikTok person. TikTok has always been my main platform. I think I have like 140,000 followers on TikTok. But one of my goals last year in 2024 was to really grow the podcast and kind of switch my main platform from being my TikTok to being my YouTube. And now I'm trying to, again, make my secondary platform not be my TikTok, but my Instagram, and kind of just start to not fizzle out my TikTok, but to be so for real, my personal strategy. I really want TikTok to be more of like a fun platform for me. I really want to start posting more like get dressed with me and get ready with me and doing like fun TikToks rather than being like an advice tips-based platform. Because my favorite thing to do on social media and like what my business is on social media is talking about social media, content creation, mental health, confidence, building your vision without getting burnt out. So I don't want to do that on TikTok anymore. I want to do that on the podcast and on my Instagram. So that's like my perspective on social media for me right now. Everyone is so different. This is how I feel. I know people disagree with me, but I do feel like the future of social media is YouTube and Instagram. I just feel that way. But TikTok is really good for reach, like outreach, reaching new people, but it's good to have something else to like bring those people to. So anyways, all that being said, we're doing a 30-day Instagram challenge and I've been having so much fun over there. So I've actually figured out a few ways to make Instagram content so much easier. But in the last 10 days, I have gained 1,000 followers on Instagram. I do have to say, I do know people are probably also coming from YouTube. When I'm talking on my YouTube about my Instagram, I'm sure people are following me from there. So I don't think it's 100% because of my challenge, but I do have to say a lot of the people who have followed me are from people who have found me through the Reels feed. So my overall strategy is all living in the video, but I wanted to show you a few things that I'm doing that I didn't mention that I've been learning. Because like I mentioned, I'm going away this weekend and I don't want to be on my phone. Being on my phone and social media is something in general I want to talk in this video a lot about. It's something I've completely like changed my habits with. There is nothing I love more than being on my phone. But you guys know me, I'm very strict on the weekends. I don't go on social media on the weekends. So when I'm away on vacation, I also try to get a break from social. So I scheduled out 4 days of content and I did it in like an hour yesterday. So there's a few different things I'm gonna be doing. I'm gonna put some pop-ups too to show you like exactly what I'm doing. So the content pillars I'm doing is I'm either choosing between a 2025 mini guide, an FAQ, or a trend problem. So those are the 3 content pillars I'm doing. And I'm actually doing them in a bit of a different way. I've been trying out different things. So I posted this piece of content. This is like how to be a full-time influencer in 2025. One thing I'm trying to do personally, and you might take a piece of this, I want that my Instagram to look like an extension of this YouTube channel. I'm using the same font. I do a lot of cutouts and layers on my thumbnails as well. So I want to bring that exact same branding, visual branding over to my personal Instagram. So as you can see here, this picture is very much giving thumbnail on this YouTube channel, but then all I did is just write in my notes app a couple steps and screenshotted them. I personally find that Canva graphics just don't look as like modern and polished as notes app. People are gonna hear us having this conversation, think we're crazy, but I feel like you know what I mean. Like if you go on Canva and look up like a graphic of a list, it's just giving like chuggy energy. That's like the only word I can think of. So I feel like Notes app and then Threads, which I'm going to talk about, look more like modern and polished. I literally just made these in my Notes app. What I do though is I screenshot it. I'll put an overlay here. I screenshot it and then I put it up on my story. So I make the Notes app have more white background, so it's a little bit easier to digest. So that's one formula I've been doing for Carousels. So this is an example of a 2025 mini guide. The text is, you're actually gonna become a full-time influencer in 2025, and here's how. I made the cover in Canva, and then I did a few steps in a Notes app. That took me probably like 20 minutes. This post as of today has 31,000 views on it. That is crazy. Like for me on Instagram, I'm newer on Instagram, has a 1.4 thousand saves, 1.3 thousand shares, and 76% of people who saw that post are people who don't follow me. And I did add music to this carousel. The caption is so simple. It just has each step in one sentence. And then I added 4 hashtags, like that was it. Very peaceful. So that was like one of the first posts I did. So I did another 2025 mini guide about what not to do in 2025 if you want to quit your 9-to-5 job. This one I just tried out doing one swipe rather than like a bunch of steps. That one has 12,000 views. One reason I think the other one did better is because it had a lot more swipes. So Instagram's registering that there's more engagement on that rather than one. So that is one thing I've been trying that has been working actually. And then something else I've been trying that's working is using threads. This is how I made content so fast for my weekend that I'm going away for. So what I did is I just went on threads and I typed in like a random thought. This was actually at 10 p.m. I was like, okay, it's 10 p.m. I haven't posted on Instagram yet today. I'm just gonna quickly think of something. So I went on threads, typed in something, I screenshotted it, and I just layered it in Instagram stories over a picture and then downloaded it and posted it. I did the first slide with a picture of me and the second slide with a different picture behind because I thought, okay, this is more shareable. People might not want to share my face on their Instagram story. So I always do like a second picture. This is from Dupe Photos. Dupe Photos is like Pinterest, but stock images. But that took me literally less than 5 minutes. I added a Sabrina Carpenter sound. I just posted this a couple days ago, but it has 7,600 views. So still like really, really good. Something else I could also do is go back and look at my most viewed TikToks and remake those. I do have to say though, I find sometimes, to be so honest, when I look back at my TikToks that have like millions of views of content tips, I'm like, I don't know if I necessarily agree with those tips. Those are a couple years old and I'm like, I feel like I just know more now and I have a different perspective than I did a couple years ago, which is good. And then part of the challenge is you have to post either a carousel or a reel. Something else I've been doing on Instagram is I'm trying to treat it really casually, if that makes sense. Like green screens, I literally filmed my reels in reels, just like talking to the camera, kind of giving old TikTok energy to see if that works. Like I actually don't know if that will work. I know on Instagram what works. I know if you do a 6 second video with text on screen, people share it and save it. That is a really, really good formula for reels. I feel like my personal strength and my best content that I like the most is when I'm talking and like talking through concepts, but like having personality behind what I'm saying about content. Cause I feel like content creation content is something I could do a whole other video on. I have so many thoughts. I just like the energy when people talk about social media is like so not fun and like not cute. And I don't know why it is that way because like there's nothing more fun than like building a business on social media. And I feel like people are very, very intense, like hustle culture. It's giving like, I know I bring up Andrew Tate all the time, but it's giving like Andrew Tate coded, like just get up and post a million times a day. I saw someone say like, you don't want it bad enough if you're not posting a million times a day. Like I just don't relate. So anyway, I have been trying doing reels where I'm talking. I have to say those are not performing as well. I posted this reel and I just filmed it like in reels and posted it super, super casual, like not edited. It has 3,000 views, but half of the people who saw it are not my followers, which is good. Like I'm reaching new people. Then I posted a reel with just a little bit of text on screen that has 15,000 views. I was doing that. I met my younger self for coffee. That was part of the trends problem pillar. The trend problems pillar to me is just like relatable thoughts or relatable problem. It's not necessarily tips or advice, just under a trending sound or song. Again, I did this, filmed this in reels, super casual. It has 6,000 views almost. And then I also tried posting a green screen. I actually made this in TikTok and downloaded it and posted it. It has 6,000 views, but as of today, I have 13.7 thousand followers. So we'll see how it goes. I've also been collab posting a lot of stuff with Busy Blooming as well, but that's where I'm at right now with the challenge. I've been having so much fun. So yesterday I just scheduled out 4 carousels, either with threads, like screenshot, or with a notes app. And those are all either answering one question or like a 2025 guide. One thing I will say that I would recommend doing is don't just make the text like how to do this in 2025 or asking a question, like make it more outward focused. So for example, that one carousel that got like 30,000 plus views, rather than saying like how to be a full-time influencer in 2025, I said that you are actually going to become a full-time influencer in 2025, and here's how. So it's a guide about 2025, but it's not like how to. It's a little bit more bold. Same with this. To me, this is an FAQ pillar, like niche versus brand, because someone would ask me, do you need to niche down? And my answer would be no. But rather than saying, do you need to niche down? No, here's why. I'm saying niche versus brand, like answering the question, but it's not packaged as a question. Does that make sense? Also, one of my bonus content pillars is business behind the scenes. So that's why I posted this one. I feel like for me, I want to try out a bunch of stuff for you so I can try it out, see if it works. So let me know if there's anything else you're like thinking of trying. You want me to test? I can be your guinea pig, like trying random types of things on Instagram and seeing if it works. Because I really just want all of us to grow on Instagram together. I'm also using the hashtag busy blooming. So feel free to use that too. So I can go through and like and comment on all your stuff. We can all like support each other under that hashtag. Anyways, that is all I have to say right now about Instagram. If I think of anything else, I'll let you know. I've also been really using my Instagram stories to like bring you the behind the scenes on the challenge and on this vlog too. I really want to start, this is what I used to do all the time with content a few years ago. I really want to start bringing you through my process as a creator growing, because I think it's helpful to see like what other people are doing. Anyways, I have a lot of work to do today. I need to edit a video, send it to a brand for approval. I have a new brand deal contract I need to sign, and we're going to talk about productivity, time management, all of that. So let's get into it. Okay, let's actually get to the topic of today's video, which is productivity, time management, all of that. It is a couple days later. I'm actually back from my trip. I had to pivot the workday when we were talking about Instagram because a brand needed an edit on something that I'm like, okay, we will pick up this vlog when I get back, which is perfectly on theme for today's video of pivoting, getting things done. So when it comes to productivity, procrastination, balancing a million things, some context that nobody asked for is that I'm so deeply passionate about this, and I feel like I have a different structure and approach than other people who are entrepreneurs, podcasters, content creators, balancing a million things, because I feel like I have been more deeply unwell than other people have when it comes to hustle culture, burnout, struggling with mental health. And if you are somebody who is building your dream life or building up social media, building a business, building your dream career, and you are struggling with your mental health, or you get a lot of burnout, or you're feeling really discouraged, really down, like just know I have been there too. But all of my 20s, I'm 28 now, I'm turning 29 this November, and from the ages of 22 to 26, I progressively every year got deeper and deeper and deeper into hustle culture and burnout, because for all of my 20s, I have done a million things. When I was 22, I had a 9-to-5 job and I started posting on social media. And so progressively every year since then, I was doing a 9-to-5 with social media. I started YouTube, I started TikTok, Instagram. I ended up launching a business, Busy Blooming, which the business I launched at 25 years old is a very, very different business than I have today. It was more of like a tech business, a digital platform. I also launched a podcast, all of that mostly with a full 40-hour-a-week job. All of those years of working a 40-hour-a-week job and then another like 40 hours plus outside of it, I was working like 100 hours a week all the time. It got to a point, obviously, when I was like 25, 26, where you just can't do it anymore. Your body's under so much stress, so much adrenaline, so much burnout that it like manifests physically. I remember in like 2023, my arms and my face were actually numb. I think I was coaching like 11 or 12 people a day and doing the podcast. I had a team of 6 people at the time working at Busy Blooming with me. I was doing social media, like a million things. And I would start working at like 4 or 5, and then it'd be like 10 p.m. and I was still sitting at my laptop, like building something or working on the website or working on content. But when I look back at that time, the biggest takeaway, even like reading through my old journals and things from that time, I loved it. And I loved how tired I was. I loved how burnt out I was. I wore it with such a sense of pride. Like it was literally my entire personality. Every time someone was asking how I was doing, I'm like, I am so busy and so stressed and such a mess. But I thought that was like a thing to be proud of, because like, look how hardworking I am and look how much money I'm making and how successful I am. Anyways, I'm sitting here at 28 years old, and to be so for real, I make more money than I did back then. I have more success in my business than I did back then, and I absolutely want to go back, give that girl a hug, slap her in the face at the same time. But I'm sitting here today. I sleep 9 hours a night. I do work a little bit more, I would say, than a normal person, but it's just because I love my work so deeply. But I wake up every day and I'm like so happy and so grounded and have so much fun, and I get everything done I need to get done. I don't have stress or burnout. Like or like a million mental breakdowns all the time, where I actually balance a lot more than I did back then, and I feel a lot better. And I know it's because of the systems I'm going to talk about today and the mindset that I have today. The reason I'm sharing all of that is because I feel like one of my biggest mistakes I made, and something I didn't fully realize that I had to learn the hard way, is that when you look at advice about productivity and time management and systems and waking up early and morning routines and time blocking, like all these different things, you could have the best advice or the best system or the best like routine, but if you as a person can't accomplish it or do it because you are not physically, mentally, emotionally able to do it, like whether your nervous system is dysregulated or you're really, really tired, or you're going through something really personal or really heavy, or you're like not eating enough protein, you're not sleeping enough. I just feel like one of the biggest takeaways I've learned is that, and I say this all the time, more related to social media, but this is why I talk about it that way with social media, is that you have all these goals and things you want to do and systems and routines and to-do lists and all these things, but you can't do them if you as a person are not able to do them. It's like that classic quote that everyone says, you can't pour from an empty cup, but like you literally can't. So when I went through that period of like extreme burnout, I would get so annoyed at myself because I'd have these to-do lists and systems and morning routines, and I couldn't accomplish them because I would get so overwhelmed and have like emotional breakdowns and be so stressed, and I would like doom scroll on my phone all the time and like not be productive. And like, why can't I just be productive? Like, why can't I balance a million things? I should just be able to wake up and do all the things I want to do and do my routine. So I know I say this all the time, like it's so much deeper, and like it is that deep. But even with time management and productivity and building all the things you want to build, it's so important to go deeper first. But the number one step before talking about to-do lists and morning routines and anything is making sure that you as a person are feeling good and getting enough sleep and taking care of yourself, because you won't be able to do anything, because you need to be somebody who can do all those things. Another side note about this is that at those ages of like 24, 25, 26, I know that if my podcast was the size that it is now, where we work with 6 brands a month, and my business and clients and busy blooming, having people work with me full time and all these different things, I could not handle it. Like I don't even know what would happen. And I believe so deeply that things happen for you, not to you. And if things aren't blowing up on social media or your business isn't exploding yet, there's a reason why. And I do know that that person who was so desperate to like be a full-time content creator and do these things, I would have probably like, I don't know, had a complete mental breakdown and deleted all my social media and like, I don't know. Anyways, just some context of like my personal journey and why I'm so deeply passionate about talking about mental health and all these things. And like, it is a business strategy. Like as Mel Robbins says, like mental health, self-care is a business strategy. I have seen that in real time, like how much more success you have with your business when you are like doing well and feeling well and going to and sleeping enough and eating enough protein and like doing all these things. It is like the best business strategy, because you're sitting, recording or creating something, feeling clear-headed and happy and grounded and good and rested. Anyways, let's get into talking about productivity, time management, the way I do my day and my system and everything. Let's get into it. For me, when it comes to productivity, time management, like organizing all your stuff every single day, there's really 4 sections I view it as. There's the actual social media and content, because like, if you know, you know, like balancing social media and content creation is just different than other things. I feel like sometimes when entrepreneurs give advice about like time management, time blocking, all this stuff, like content creation, social media, it's just different. It's just like so much more difficult because creating content is that deep. Then there's your daily system of like, okay, every single day, your routines, your structure. Then there is the full framework of like the way you view your business, productivity, how to avoid procrastination in your business. And then there's wellness and mental health, which we've chatted about a little bit. And I have a lot more to say about that. And I have all my notes right here. I will first want to talk about social media, because I feel like content creation and social media, it's a very niche thing when it comes to how to like be productive and manage your time. I do have to say, I have 2 episodes on this. I'll link them down below, but I want to share a couple fresh things that I've never really shared before. One of the biggest things that helped me with social media, with time management, is stopping, how do I say this? Like, stop giving yourself rules as a content creator. This is probably one of the biggest ways I got my own way, wasted my own time, would get stressed out, have mental breakdowns, is I would make, and I think it's from coming from corporate, but I would make these like structures and schedules and rules that no one else did. Like, for example, I would like post these schedules online, being like, I'm going to post a video every single Thursday at 12 p.m., every single Sunday at 12 p.m., and Wednesdays at 2. Like, I would post that publicly for for people who followed me, and I would make this structure and schedule that would actually provide me so much stress. And I think a lot of us do this all the time because we've been told like 10 years ago that like the best advice ever is to be consistent and post at the same time every single week, push through, do it anyways. If you don't do it, you don't want it bad enough. And so what that does is it really puts a lot of stress on you, because at least for me, maybe this is just my experience, but I would have a vlog like not done. Like this vlog, for example, probably will go up on like a Friday or a Saturday instead of a Thursday this week. But a couple of years ago, that would stress me out so much. I'd be like, my vlog's gonna be late. Everyone's gonna hate me. Like I'm a failure. I can't get my vlog done. What's wrong with me? What am I not doing? I have to like rush and quickly edit and film it and get it done. Who was the person who said the video had to be up Sunday at noon, Wednesday at noon, whatever it was me. So getting rid fully of a schedule, I know we do pretty much do like Monday mornings and Thursday-ish vlogs we're trying right now. The way I function now, maybe this is like a bad way to function, but I will never just like quickly film, edit, and post something I don't like to get the video up Monday at 10 a.m. I would way rather spend an extra day or two on it and tell you like, hey, the video for Monday is gonna be up on Wednesday, than just post something I don't even like on Monday. Because as a viewer, you actually don't really care. And also you don't wanna like watch something that is like bad. Another huge thing with social media is I would waste my time on the dumbest things that did not matter. For example, I love editing. Like I love adding music and text and overlays and transitions and making things look like really clean. It's something I actually genuinely have a lot of fun doing. So for example, when I would post vlogs, I would spend hours and hours and hours of my time adding in like gorgeous text and like picking the exactly right song and transitions and graphics and all these things. People honestly with vlogs, that at least for me, I feel like I put vlogs on like in the background. So I would spend like 10 extra hours on a video just to get all this stuff up on the visuals that probably people actually aren't even watching. And so as a content creator on social media, I feel like it is so important to be so hyper aware all the time of the ROI of your time. Like, is the return on investment of that 10 hours greater to make the vlog look perfect? Or could I use that 10 hours on creating a bunch of TikToks or reels or mapping out a new podcast, or at the time working on my other business that I had? Every time you sit down as a creator, as an entrepreneur to do something, think about first, how long am I gonna spend on this? And is this the highest return on investment of my time? Do people actually care about this? Does this actually get me closer to what I want to do more than other things? And again, when you're like rushed and your nervous system's all dysregulated and you're exhausted, you can't think that way. You're just like in survival mode, like trying to do a bunch of stuff. So that is again why it's so important to be well rested and feel good. But that was another huge thing that like really got my way of productivity. Another thing with social media that has helped me so much with time management, all of this, is stopping to try to do everything. I would always do my social media, and I've said this before, but in like a line, if I have my TikTok, my Instagram, my podcast, Busy Blooming is Instagram, my Pinterest, my YouTube shorts, like I would have all these different platforms I had to post on all the time. And rather than viewing them as like a horizontal line, now I view them as a vertical hierarchy line of like, okay, I have my YouTube, my Instagram, Busy Blooming's Instagram, YouTube shorts, Pinterest, LinkedIn. Like you have a line, a priority list, and I don't prioritize all of them. Like, do I post on the Busy Blooming LinkedIn? No, but I used to post on that like every single day because I'm like, it's part of the line of things I have to do. So generally viewing your social media as a hierarchy and thinking, okay, my need to do's every single day is YouTube and Instagram. Rest are like bonus, whatever. I don't have to do those, but really checking in yourself like, okay, what are actually like the important things? Another social media thing is figuring out easy formats. Like when I was really on TikTok, the green screen Pinterest, I'll put an overlay here. Those Pinterest green screens took me probably like 5 minutes to make. And those videos were always my most biggest performing ones. I would go on Pinterest, get a photo, put it behind me, or I'd go on my notes app, screenshot something and put that behind me. Those green screen videos, I would film them in TikTok, edit them in TikTok, post it. Like it was so peaceful and so easy. But that took me a while of trying different formats to figure out that for me was really easy and did really well. Same with my sit down videos, like the podcast that you guys watch. There is no B-roll. There was no like different shots of me talking. I'm like sitting in my chair with my microphone with text on screen because I love that look. But that format for me is so easy. It's so peaceful to film. So figuring that out for you of like, what is your easy format that is easy to make, but also works really well. It's like one of the best time management things too, because then you're not wasting time like filming all these like random things that take a lot of time and that aren't doing well and that you like don't find easy. The key to social media and like success on social media is finding your effortlessness in terms of what you're talking about and how you're talking about it. That is like the key duo of success on social media is those two things. And when they blend done together. Those are like the social media things, but a lot of the other things I'm going to talk about in terms of productivity, how I manage my day, my time, everything applies with social media too. So let's get into those. Okay, I feel like I'm doing a really bad job today of showing you like what I'm actually working on. I was just scripting the video for the next episode. Next week's vlog, I'll like take you through everything, but the episode is live now. The first episode of how to take social media seriously, and I think you're really liking it. I'm trying to make the video more like tough love, being so for real, and episode 2 is going to be all about like habits and things not to do, so it's actually kind of working with this vlog too. But anyways, you know when you're at work and you feel like you are going for a coffee with your coworker and you go for way too long, or you're like sitting in each other's offices just like talking, but like you should be working. That's how I feel right now talking to you. I wanted to break down my like day-to-day, how I manage a lot of things going on. There are a few things that I do every single day that help me manage a lot of things and like feel happy and grounded and excited and productive doing them. I feel like procrastination is also something I don't struggle with that much anymore. I do have a whole video going through my detailed Notion work week routine, the literal like template I use, how I have morning meetings with myself, Friday meetings with myself, how I organize my content, like all of that. So I don't want to repeat myself too much. So you can go check out that video if you want like a more detailed work week routine. But I wanted to talk more about productivity, procrastination, and like time management in this video rather than like how I'm doing my Notion content calendar, if that makes sense. So on a day-to-day, more like micro basis, how I manage everything. So I have a few different jobs, I feel like, and a few different things that I do, like businesses, projects, like however you want to view it. One thing I talked about in that work week routine video is that I function on a day-to-day basis. I do my to-do list, I map out my calendar, I do everything in a priorities list. So for example, the podcast is #1 priority. It's the centerpiece of the business. So I don't work on Instagram or work with our clients, like do anything else until the podcast work is done. So when I think about all the priorities and different things that I do and that I balance, so of course the podcast, like being a full-time podcaster, goes out on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, all the content around that, but also the brand deals with every single episode that we do. So the contracts, the negotiation, the concepts, the scripts, getting those approved. And then another really big piece of my job is content on social media, short form. So the Busy Blooming Instagram, the Busy Blooming Pinterest, YouTube Shorts. Also a whole other separate business in a way, I feel like, is my Instagram, my TikTok, like my Tess Barclay account. So working with brands on there, posting on there. And then also the business of Busy Blooming. So outside of all of the gorgeous content, we have our business. So we have our digital shop, but also Busy Blooming does have clients where we do editing. We also do a little bit of management and like brand deal management, which I haven't really chatted about, but we do manage a few creators. I also used to do a lot of coaching, which I don't do anymore. So I don't offer that service anymore, but we do services at Busy Blooming. And then there's the founder piece of like looking at the business, working on the business, strategizing, building out different pieces of Busy Blooming that I want to do. So at work, there's like a lot of different pieces that go into everything. Let's talk about my daily system of how I like manage all this on a daily basis. So one big thing I feel like when it comes to time management, productivity, is you just like can't listen to anybody. Even what I'm going to say today of like what works for me, it might not work for you. So you really have to look at yourself and treat yourself like a science project and always pay attention to how you're feeling and like what is triggering you when you're feeling anxious, overwhelmed, stressed, burnt out. Like what are the causes of those? Like for example, for me, one big cause of overwhelm for me in the past that I really don't do anymore because I know it causes overwhelm is when I have a really long to-do list of stuff to do in the day, but it's not put into my calendar, like time blocked into my calendar, because I wake up in the morning, I have this big list and I have an empty calendar and I'm like, okay, I have to like quickly go do all this as fast as possible. And I feel really rushed, really overwhelmed. If someone's like calling me, I don't pick up the phone because I'm like, I don't have time. But if I take my to-do list and like put it in meetings, start my calendar of like, okay, I'm gonna vlog from 1 to 2 p.m. I'm gonna make Instagram content from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Like if I take my to-do list and put it in my calendar, I don't get that feeling of overwhelm and stress. So when talking about all of this stuff, it's so important to know yourself first and like really pay attention to how you're feeling. And when you do feel that overwhelm, figure out the cause, try to look at it objectively and try to like manage that and avoid it moving forward. So all that being said, one of the biggest things that helps me be productive is how I set up my day. And I feel like people are very into morning routines and everyone has their own routine. Something that has helped me so much with productivity and preserving my energy is not having a morning routine and having the most like peaceful morning. One of the biggest things I do for productivity is just sleep as long as possible. I try to get at least 8 hours, if not 9 every single night. And if you go to bed at 10 and you wake up at 7, that's 9 hours. Like it's not that crazy. I wake up at about 7 every single morning naturally, so I don't set an alarm. I get up at around 7, and having a routine that is very like peaceful and preserving my energy of just like making a tea, having some water. I might go on my phone a little bit, maybe like send some voice notes out to my family, respond to text. But really my priority in the morning is try to preserve my energy and really be where my feet are. This is something that has helped me a lot. Be productive and stay focused is in the morning, ground myself and center myself. I'm like, okay, today is this day. I'm this age. I'm doing this today. Here's all the things that I'm grateful for. I will like pray and ground myself and just try to be today, like this morning. I do have a morning meeting with myself every morning, but before I do that, I have my like a 30 minutes of like peace and silence and making a tea and like really getting grounded and present in the day. I do get ready and then I have a little meeting with myself every morning of, okay, what are we like doing today? Looking through the priorities, putting them in my calendar, and that's that. One thing I have to say that might sound so weird is I feel like because we're creative people, like as content creators, like I said, we are artists. And I think it is so important as a creator, and this has like actually changed my life, is having a lot of silence in your day, which might sound crazy. In the mornings, when I'm getting ready, when I'm having a shower, when I'm out for a walk, like I'm not listening to anything. I have a very busy, active mind. I've really learned recently like the amount of stimulation listening to a podcast or listening to music or watching a YouTube video does. And when you have a very creative job or you're a creator or a podcaster or entrepreneur, like you really do need your mind and your energy and your thoughts, and your thoughts are gorgeous. And I feel like when I was first getting started with all this stuff, I would never have moments of like silence. And now I actually have a lot of silence in my day. Like this morning I went for a walk and grabbed a coffee with like no headphones. I was just thinking, and being alone more with my thoughts, I feel like is the result of a lot of success in my business, because I'll think of ideas, think of podcast ideas, think of content ideas, like think of things to do with Busy Blooming. And I never used to have like creative space ever. So even when I do my makeup in the morning, like I'm actually in silence, which I think sounds weird, but it has helped me a lot with productivity, being centered, being grounded, like clearing out my mind all the time. So those are two things like on a day-to-day basis that I do. Another habit that I do is I just do not go on my phone. I said this in the beginning of the video talking about Instagram, like I love being on my phone. Coming from somebody whose screen time used to be like actually 50 hours a week, but I got to a point where I'm like, I just don't go on my phone. Like I don't go on it. It's not who I am. I don't identify as somebody who goes on their phone all the time. I will post something and then close the app. Like I really do not go on my phone throughout the workday, because that is probably one of the biggest reasons I was so unproductive. And also it's so overstimulating. You're using all your creative energy and ideas and thoughts looking through what people are doing, because every time you're looking at someone's TikTok or their Instagram, you're processing everything you're seeing, and you need all that energy and all those thoughts like for your projects, your business, and different things. So again, the ROI of your energy, the ROI of your time, like is that the best return on investment of your energy? Look at your TikTok, definitely not. We all know that, but it's so hard. But I know it sounds crazy, but just saying like I'm not somebody who goes on my phone, like I don't struggle with that. I feel like it's helped me just like not do it and be just like mentally resilient. And then on a daily basis, when it comes to like productivity, procrastination, like things like that, but having a bit of a superiority complex with yourself. And I talked about this a little bit in the video last week, like the first episode of Take Social Media Seriously. Pushing through resistance is such an art of, as an entrepreneur, as a creator, knowing when to push, when to pull, and always deciding like, okay, what is gonna make me feel better? Pushing through right now and getting it done, is that gonna make me feel better? Or pulling back and resting and doing this later, pushing the video a week, or taking a week off of content, or dropping this deal, like is that gonna make me feel better, or is pushing through? Like figuring that out takes, I feel like, years to learn. So that's like part number one, is figuring out that push and pull, what's gonna make me feel better. But also having a bit of a superiority complex with myself has helped me a lot. So for example, if I have a task on my list that I'm like, okay, I don't want to do this, but I like need to get the video done, the brand like needs it today or something, I will say to myself, like for some people this might be hard, like for other people they might find that editing this video is like stressful and hard, but like for me, this is easy. And genuinely saying that to myself all the time. But rather than saying, oh, I don't feel like doing this, saying, this is easy for me. Like doing things that I don't feel like doing is easy. That like toxic mindset has actually helped me a lot. Anyways, let's keep on with the work day. I have to finish scripting the rest of the second video in the series, and then we'll keep unpacking all these things. Okay, it is 5 p.m. I'm ending the work day. I'm back in Storm's desk. I truly feel like a Twitch streamer as always. I also got a new box of the Busy Blooming samples. You guys, I think like this is the final sweatshirt. I moved the text up like an inch and it looks so much better. I love it. Anyway, I had so much fun filming this vlog. The plan right now is to do them like at the end of the week, every other week, but I'm like, I don't want to miss out on a vlog. So I might keep doing them weekly. I'm having so much fun. And one thing I'll leave you with, this is more of a personal lesson, something that I just have learned, probably the biggest thing I've learned over the last 6 years. And one day I do want to sit down and do like a whole long, like sitting in a sweatsuit with my microphone, like a deep dive, unfiltered edition into making money in my 20s, how much money I was making, my business businesses, my mental health, my journey. But right now I feel like there's such a big chunk I can't and I don't want to speak on yet. But one day we'll deep dive into it all. But one thing I will say is that one of the biggest lessons I have learned the hard way is that if you're an entrepreneurial person or creative content creator, one of the biggest things we are chasing is a feeling. I have experienced firsthand when I was, I think, 25, the feeling of getting everything I wanted. Like I remember so clearly, there was 1 month where I made the most money. The more money that I ever thought was possible in my life. I hit a follower count that I had always wanted to hit. I had surpassed so many of my goals like really quickly in 1 month. And that was the lowest my mental health has ever been in my life. And I had spent years and years and years, like 3 years of working and building and pivoting and rebranding and trying a million different things to finally get everything I wanted. And when I got it, I felt so empty. I was like a shell. I was just like the shell of me. I was so burnt out and tired and really struggling with mental health and not feeling happy because getting what I wanted came at the cost of enjoying it. And something I've really learned, you know that quote in The Office, it's like, how do you know you're in the good old days? You only know you're in the good old days until you leave them. I feel that way so much with building businesses and building social media and like building what you want to build. Like building it is the good old days. Like it really, really is. Like I remember the time of having like 1,000 followers on TikTok and 1,000 followers on YouTube and Instagram and like building and trying things and like pivoting and strategizing and doing vision boards. And like I still do that today. Like it's so fun. Like the build of everything, not having all the goals done and like everything's just done and completed. Like working towards them and getting them is the good old days, like is the fun part. But I feel like so often, and I did this too, is you don't enjoy the build. You don't enjoy the journey. We're just like rushing to the destination. We don't let ourselves be happy until we get the things that we want. And trust me, sometimes when you get the things you want, you get to the destination, it's not as fun as the build. Because at the build, if you don't take care of yourself and you don't enjoy it and all these things, like you won't feel the way you think you're gonna feel when you have it. But the thing I want to leave this video with, I'm talking about productivity and mindset and organization and time management and building all the things we want to build without getting burnt out, is like the best way to do it is really romanticize this time and have fun in this time. I know you will look back and I will look back at this time that we're all in of like building our social media and building our businesses and think, oh, that was so fun. Like that was so fun. Like building and balancing a 9-to-5 job and like having my Instagram on the side and like pivoting and trying and like making a podcast. It's just so fun. It's just like the most magical, fun, privileged thing that a lot of people don't get to do. It's such a privilege to have the time outside of your 9-to-5 job to do all these things, or have the time and the ability, the physical ability, the mental ability, which is something I feel so deeply now, like so grateful for, to have the physical ability, like to work and build all these dreams that we have. Like it's just so fun. And I feel like I wish I could go back and tell myself like 4 years ago, like this is the fun, this is the good old days, like enjoy this now. Stop like rushing and burning yourself to get somewhere, because you can have that feeling now of what you think you're gonna feel when you get everything. Stop trying to chase this like perfect routine and perfect formula. Like enjoy the messiness of it. And what I mean by that is enjoy it, like be happy and don't burn yourself out and put you as a human being at a cost of all these different things. Anyways, I can go on and on and on, and it's 5 p.m. and the work day is over, and I'm so excited to start the next vlog. I think I'm gonna start it like tomorrow. Anyways, I hope you guys are doing well, and thank you for watching vlog number 2. Thank you also, I have to say, for all the comments on the last vlog. Like it means the world to me. Every time I'm in this chair, I feel like I'm gonna like start crying. It's like, this is where we have our deep chats, is in our like Twitch streaming era. But thank you, but seriously, thank you. Like it's so nice to read through those comments, and everyone's just like so sweet and kind, and it means a lot to me. It just means a lot to me. And like I wish I could like give you this feeling. Like it just means the world. So thank you. And I will see you guys in the next episode of the next vlog. Okay, bye.